face for those guys to have some of those returners take that leadership role a little more than maybe they would have?
Sure, great question. I think at the end of the day, whether I'm new or I'm not new, leadership up front is critical because at the end of the day, we have to be 5 as 1. And making sure that everybody is honed in and ready to do their job on each and every play. We have a bunch of seniors in our room right now. Bryce Cable, Mike Ford, they're doing a tremendous job of leading, and I think we're only going to improve as the season goes.
I think with both of those guys that you just mentioned, it's not incredibly natural for them to do that. They've talked yesterday about how to kind of pull that out of it. Yeah. So what's that like to see, and how would you grade their ability to kind of push the issue on becoming leaders?
I tell you what, that's a great question, and we actually went in depth and talked about this. And leadership it isn't a talent; it's a skill. And like most skills, it's things you have to work on. I will say myself, I probably was not a great leader when I was their age, but it's something that you need to continue to do, to use your voice, to make sure. And leadership sometimes is hard. Because you have to stand against the grain and stuff for what's right versus what's more comfortable and convenient. And I think they're only going to get better. It resonated with them when I said it was a skill, and they may not feel as comfortable now, but as they continue to the process, they'll only get better and better for us.
How have you dealt with losing some guys to injury and then also working your tackles back from injury and just having a lot of different sets of alignment as a result?
I appreciate that question because that is a delicate process. Right, there are people that go down. We naturally know if someone goes down, it's a next man up mentality. But at the same point, we want to make sure we get great reps by the guys that are coming back from surgeries, right, from the postseason, and continue to acclimate them back. So it's been very rigorous. Our group has been tremendous about making sure we move guys around to different spots and pieces to make sure guys get reps, or we take care of people in that respect. But it is delicate, but it's been really, really good so far.
What sort of growth have you seen from Shane so far this spring?
I think fantastic. You know, he came in here, you know, as a newcomer, him along with Daryl Simmons. They've come in here. You saw them today. They're getting reps with the first group. They're getting reps with the second groups. The way we practice, and I know Coach Agpalsa has said this a long time, the way we practice, the ability for our development with both our first, second, and a lot of times even our third group, it's tremendous, man. And there's a lot of great competition, obviously, with Dominic Puni and Mike Nowitzki leaving. There's a lot of competition for spots, and that's what we wanted right now. So he's doing a great job.
For someone like, I know you guys like to like cross training, different positions, guys work in different spots. For someone like you guys experience at center, does he move around, or is it mostly just center?
I think that's a great question, and I think in a perfect world, if we had him longer, well, and we may tinker within the fall, right? But as of right now, what I want to do a great job of for them as their coach new is building trust with them and get them in a spot where they feel comfortable, because this is the first time the offense has been installed with them. So going through it for the first time, there's going to be things that they are not sure about that maybe a guy that's been in our program for 4 or 5 years has understood. So getting them comfortable in that spot, once they feel comfortable, having the ability to have flexibility, I think you understand that if you want to play at the highest level, flexibility is a huge piece of being an offensive lineman. And if we can get that done in the fall, we'll look to do that.
A lot of the guys we talked to at your position the other day said the best thing about you so far is how open-minded you've been, about kind of coming in and learning them versus trying to force you onto them. Is that something that you decided was the right way to go, or had to be the way you did it here when you came in?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, because I've done this before and I failed. If I'm being completely honest, you know, we all learn from our mistakes as we get older. This is probably the 4th time I've come into a new room, taking over a group that's been a veteran group, and I made the mistake probably earlier on in my career just saying, hey, this is how I've always done it, this is the way I'm going to do it, and this is the way you're going to do it, as opposed to marrying our ideas together. And I think, you know, talking to Coach Agpalsa, talking to the offense, what's really comfortable for me is this offense is very familiar. I guess the words and the verbiages are very familiar, and just making sure we integrate our ideas, because at the end of the day, it's about them playing as fast as they can, not about me being the guy knowing everything. So it's about the players.
Cool. Is there an example of that marrying of ideas that you can point to?
Yeah, I think one of them is kind of how they take on certain techniques to get their job done. There's ways that I've done it before, and I asked him, so how have you guys done this? He goes, oh, this is what we've done. And if it's similar in a respect, maybe just a hair different, it could be footwork, it could be hand placement. And I was like, well, has this worked for us? I validated on the tape. I said, listen, if you're comfortable, you can play faster that way. Let's attack it that way. Because I'll tell you guys what, we won 9 games last year. And I mean, my job is to change everything. I want to continue that trend. Veterans like I talked around, right? Daryl Simmons, you talk about Shane Bumgarner. There's so much competition, so many spots in so many places. I think it's bringing out the best in all of them, and I think they're excited about that challenge, and I feel like we can take another step before the spring ends.
We've seen Logan working at left tackle. What have you seen from him working at that spot this spring?
A lot of growth and a lot of open-mindedness. If you guys be honest with you, he just got done working. So he asked me post-practice, what can I continue to work on to be a better player? And the one thing I will say about this entire group that I truly appreciate about being their line coaches, they are so open-minded and they want to learn and they want to grow and they want to be better. And as a teacher, I can't ask for anything more from the group. And it's seasoned, like with Logan Brown. You know, obviously last year he was new. Coming in this year, he's already taken a step. And I told him, if you can continue to trust in what we believe in and what we do, he's only going to get better and better by the fall.
What were your first impressions of Bryce?
A dude, to be honest with you. I won't lie, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and you know, I call him Father Time because he's an old man, right? But he probably gonna hate that I said that. but I'll tell you what, man, he's got a wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge, and I tell him all the time, like, repetition is the mother of all learning. Experience is the father. And he's got a ton of experience and a ton of reps, and he plays at a high level. There's things that we saw today that was new to a lot of guys, seeing different looks by our defense, but he's seen it all, and his ability to self-correct, make things right. I think he's a really good player. I can't wait for his senior season.
Now that you've had more time working with Coach Grimes, what has that been like, especially given that he also comes from kind of an offensive line background?
It's been really good, man. He's got a, you know, I like to feel I've done a lot of great things in my career, but what's so fun for me is I always feel like I continue to learn and grow. Coach Grimes has been a lifelong offensive line coach for 30 years. To have the opportunity to bounce ideas off of him, to learn from his mistakes before I even make mistakes, or that we made the same mistakes, right? I mean, we have something in common. He's been fantastic, man. He's been a wealth of knowledge for me, and I'm truly blessed that I got him as a coordinator. I really am. Anything else?
Thank you
for making that.